Seriously?
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode with myself, 6+ Stevo. So last weekend I attended a tournament, not just any tournament, but Dominion War 2024. This is an awesome tournament that's hosted every year by none other than friend of the channel, Mr. IDICBeer 40k, Necrons and more. I've got some good memories. I've got a lot to talk about in this episode and I want to share it all with you guys, so stick around. So I got the invite to this year. I've been to several of the previous events. I unfortunately could not attend 2023 Dominion War for the small matter that I was getting married, so I don't think the missus, or at that time the future missus, would have been very happy if I'd gone. Sorry darling, I'm just nipping off to play with some toy soldiers during this crucial time of wedding preparation and planning. But it looked like an absolutely fantastic time. I watched it with envy because they had some really cool guys there, some of which I hadn't had a chance to meet. And yeah, it just looked like a really good time, and lots of fun were had and lots of awesome content was made. I did though attend the Dominion War 2022 tournament, which was really good, and that was the first of the tournaments, and it was an absolutely cracking event. I met some great guys there and we had just a fantastic time. Lots of dice rolled, lots of fun was had. We went out for milkshakes afterwards. My good buddy Voldemort was there. I met other people from other channels like Josh from the Cookie Jar, who was a fantastic guy, and all in all it was a brilliant event. And yeah, so I really wanted to attend this one. There was though one more event prior to this, a kind of proto Dominion War, if you will, and that was Nick's very first tournament that I also attended way back in, I believe it was 2019. Now I was very early on then. God, I was so early on that my orc army was only partially painted. I was very new onto the scene at that point, and I really had an attack of intruder syndrome, and but regardless, had an absolutely fantastic time. But I swore to myself after that event, next event I'm going to, I'm bringing a painted army, and it's going to wow everybody and be amazing. I think I've at least partially achieved that. But yeah, so I've been to a lot of the previous events, all but one, and always had an absolutely amazing time. So yes, when the invite came in, you can bet your ass I was not missing this one. And it wasn't just me that went along this time. My good buddy Dread was also invited. So he came over for the weekend, he spent a few days here, and we travelled up there together to Nick's to take part in this tournament, and it was brilliant. When we got there, we had a really warm welcome from all the guests there, other YouTubers. There was so many names there, and just all of them. There wasn't a bad one amongst them. Everyone was really friendly, really easygoing, up for a laugh, and yeah, we hadn't even barely got out of the car and sort of getting our stuff out. People were running up to us, shaking hands and greeting us, and there was sort of meeting people for the first time, sometimes reacquaint, meeting people again, and yeah, it was just brilliant. Just a really there was high energy. There was you could tell we had a good day ahead of us. The sun was shining, it was beautiful, and yeah, we were ready for fun. Now this year's tournament was a little bit different to previous year's tournaments that I'd been to. All the previous ones I'd been to have been solo affairs, so you were on your own, you had your list and you take on whoever you're drawn against. But last year Nick did something different and he made it a doubles event, which I really liked the sound of, and it was such a success last year that he decided to do it again this year, which I was really pleased about because I've never played in a doubles tournament before. And yeah, I was keen to see what that would be like. So the way it worked was we would all draw names out of a hat, and then we would see who we were paired up with, and that was your partner for the day. So There was no chance in the build-up to the tournament to kind of work out a strategy with your teammate or sort of get lists that complement each other and work well together. There was none of that. It was like you make your list, you draw your name, that's your partner, you make the best of it and you work together. It was just a laugh. It was just, I think everyone came there with the same kind of energy and vibe. That the primary reason for attending and doing this was to have fun, roll dice, meet people, have a good time, and just share in this hobby goodness. So I think everyone there wasn't overly fussed about who they were paired with, really. And it was great to be paired with people and get a chance to meet new people and, you know, work out a strategy together and have fun together. So the teams were drawn, and the teams were as follows. In team number 1, we had, of course, Mr. IDICBeer with his Necrons, and he was paired up with Kaiser from the channel Modelling for Advantage. Now, Kaiser's an awesome guy. The channel Modelling for Advantage is an excellent channel. I have appeared on there a couple of times. The Kaiser has also appeared on the other channel that I do with the Gits, the Orc War Bosses, and he's appeared on the show before. So definitely a friend of the channel. And although I've worked with the Kaiser before, I've never actually met him in the flesh. So it was really, really cool to meet him in the flesh for the first time, which, yeah, it's funny. You know people for so long and you feel like you've met them, but you haven't. So when you do meet them, it kind of doesn't feel weird. It feels like you already know each other, because, well, you do. But yeah, Kaiser's a really, really cool guy and really knowledgeable, and he's just got a wealth of knowledge on this hobby and the games and stuff, and again plays it in the right spirit. And he was running his Death Guard army. In team number 2, we had another member of Modelling for Advantage in James' Workshop. He bought his Custodes, and he was paired with a friend of the channel, Dread from Dreadwar Gaming, and his freebooter Orcs. Quite a lethal combination there, Orcs and Custodes. That did make an interesting combination list. We then had from Shed Gaming, we had Rory with his Tyranids. Rory's a great guy, really high energy, youthful enthusiasm. That's the best description of Rory. Youthful enthusiasm. And yeah, Rory was a great guy. He one of them people that when they're at the event, they just make it more fun and bring the energy and bring the excitement, and just you know, don't take themselves too seriously, don't take the games too seriously. They're just there to have fun, have a laugh, and share with everyone, as was everyone on this. It's kind of surplus to requirements to say that about any one of these individuals, because everyone seemed to come with that same energy. He was paired up with Aaron from Demon Prince Gaming, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what faction he was using. Yes, it was, of course, Demons. Really, really friendly guy, really easygoing, and had some fantastic looking demon miniatures. In the next team, we had David from the Golden Throne with his beautiful grim dark looking Nova Marines, and he was paired with Bill from Warzone Morlock. Bill was at that very original Proto-Dominion War event, so that was the first time I'd met Bill, and I was really impressed with his painting of his Space Marines back then, and since then it has only gotten better. And I've never had the chance to play Bill. Even though we've been at several of these events together, we never get drawn either with each other or against each other, and I'm hoping to address that one day, because I would love to roll some dice with Bill and put my Orcs up against his Space Marines, or team up with them one year, who knows. So they made an absolutely fantastic pair. Both their armies were stunningly painted, and they combined really well to make a really attractive army. I would say of all the pairings, of all the teams, they had the best looking army in terms of, like, you know, doubles as a complete force. They really complemented each other well and worked well together, and a great pair of guys that again just seemed like They were there for the laughs, they were there for the fun, they were there to sort of show off the miniatures and just, you know, play in the right spirit. In the next team, we had El Capitano Richard from CM Wargames. He was running his orcs, and he was paired with Dan from Warhammer 40k. That's Warhammer with an O. A channel that I was previously unaware of. I didn't even know it existed, but I now know that it exists thanks to this event. And yeah, really pleased I found it, because it's a fantastic channel. He brought his Drakari to combine with Richard's orcs, so that was again, I think quite a strong list. Richard is, you know, a very competitive player. He does very much tailor his lists for sort of winning at all costs. So he had a very strong orc list there. It was fine-tuned. It was a very strong list with lots of bodies. And the Drakari just added more numbers to that and added a bit of speed and sneaky shenanigans that Drakari come with. And it was great to see Drakari there, because you don't get to see them that often. They're a bit more one of the sort of fringe factions, aren't they? You don't see a huge amount of. In the next team, we had Jack, also from Warhammer 40k. And he was bringing his Imperial Knights that were painted in a beautiful purple colour and looked really imposing, and a lot of people were quite scared of them. Jack was a really, really friendly guy. I didn't really ever get a chance to chat to him, not until right near the end of the evening actually, but I'm glad I did get a bit of time to chat to him, because what a friendly guy, what an easygoing, relaxed guy. And yeah, just both him and Dan, I'm looking to sort of do something with those guys in the future. I would love to collaborate with them on something, whether that be a battle or some kind of discussion. I don't know, but guys, if you're watching this, reach out to me. Let's network and get something going, because I like what you guys are doing. I like your style, and yeah, you're my kind of people. Jack was teamed up with Carl from Planet 40k, who I've met at previous events, also sporting Necrons. And Jack's a lovely guy. Jack's a really, really lovely guy. He's really sort of, he's kind of a calming person to be around. He's very sort of softly spoken. He doesn't get sort of overexcited. He's very calm and collected. He knows his stuff with the game, that's for sure. But just a very friendly guy, and again, just easy to chat to and easy to hang out with. And has a lovely Necron army and some awesome miniatures and painted miniatures in that army that we'll take a look at a little bit later on. So yeah, we had Imperial Knights and Necrons, a list that I don't think many people were keen to do battle with, that being that Carl brought with him the Tesseract Vault. So in one list we had a Tesseract Vault and several knights. So yeah, pretty scary list, especially for anyone who didn't bring a lot of anti-tank weaponry with them. In the next army, in the next pairing, we had Jack from Ministry of Dice. He was also sporting his Necrons, or should that be Jecrons? And Jack's a really cool guy, very generous. Jack will know what I'm talking about. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Yeah, I hung out with Jack a little bit between battles. We never got to play together in that, but we did hang out between. And yeah, again, my kind of guy. Someone that you can just sit and shoot the breeze with. Really laid back, really easy going, and just a gentleman. You know, that's the best way I can put it. Just a gentleman. He was paired up with Richie, also from Ministry of Dice, with his Sisters of Battle. So we had Necrons and Sisters of Battle. And I don't know if Jack and Richie were pleased to be paired together, because they obviously get to play together a lot where they come from back home, which I think was quite far up north. I think they'd travelled quite a distance to come. And so they sort of laughed when they drew each other, because they were like, we've travelled all this way, we've been stuck in a car together. I don't know if they've been staying at hotels and things or whatnot, but they've come all that way to still play together. They're like, we might as well could have stayed at home and done this. So I think they were. I think it was joke. I think they were okay with that, but they, I think they were a little bit disappointed that they didn't get to mingle and pair up with other people just to sort of, you know, make new acquaintances and stuff. But obviously it worked in their favour because they know each other so well, they know their armies so well, so I think that gave them a little bit of an edge in some of the battles, in just being able to, they didn't have to sort of break that ice and stuff at first, they could just get straight into it, and they would have definitely had a familiarity with each other's forces and a knowledge of them, of what they can do and what they were capable of, which I'm sure benefited them in games. And then it was me. Who was I going to be paired with? Who were me and my Bad Moon orcs going to be paired with? Well, I drew a guy called Kevin. I looked round and he was nowhere to be seen because he hadn't arrived yet, because he was late. So he was clearly meant to be my partner, because I have become known for always being late to these events. This was probably the first year I was actually on time. But Kevin is from the channel The Hobby Corner, and he's been doing that for quite a while now. I don't think he's released much content on the channel for a little while. I don't know if he's just taken a bit of a break from it or whatever, but he came along with his Space Marines, so it was Orcs and Space Marines for us. I was quite pleased with that pairing. First of all, his army looked great. It painted really nice. It looked like a decently strong army, had some strong units in there. We had some Terminators and things, and he clearly knew his stuff. And a really easy guy to be paired up with. Like, when you're going to these events and you don't know anyone, there's always a little bit of fear that, oh, you know, what if I get paired with a bellend, you know? Sorry, Kev, it happened to you. Yeah, Kev was just really, again, laid back, easy going. During the game, I was discussing tactics with him and things I wanted to do, and he was just like, yeah, cool, go for it. And there were some decisions I was making later on in game that were probably not tactically good and weren't going to get us a win, let's say. And in them scenarios, you know, when you're paired up, you might sort of worry that, oh, this might piss my opponent off if he's taking this a bit more seriously. And really trying to win, but he was like, yeah, no, go for it, it'll be a laugh, it'll be cool. So, and we did have a laugh, and there were many times around the tables when there was just laughter going on and good times. So yeah, I got lucky with my pairing, and we had a really, really good time. So what list did I bring to this tournament? Well, to the surprise of absolutely no one, I bought a dread mob, because of course I did, because dread mobs are really, really cool. They are the coolest thing in the orcs, who are the coolest faction in 40k. So yeah, it just had to be done. So I bought with me 3 Death Dreads, all armed differently. I bought a unit of 3 killer cans. We bought a mob of shooter boys. I had Bob and the gang, so 1 mob of grots, and what else did I have in the list? I had a truck and a unit of knobs, just been painted prior to the event, or at least a couple of them had. And leading the force, I had a mech boy with the enhancement dead glowy thing, which I remembered to use sometimes. Not all the time, unfortunately. And I had some Legends units as well, because one of the awesome things about Dominion War is that Nick allows the use of Forge World units and Legends units, which I think I'm at least partially responsible for in nudging him towards that, or putting the idea in his head, because I'm always an advocate for using Legends and Forge Worlds units and just using interesting stuff, you know. And because we got rules for it, we got points for it, why can't we use it? It's not like the tournament is designed for, it's not like a come and crush all and win a big cash prize. It's a much more laid back affair, and it's much more about networking and making friends and just having fun games. So Legends units are welcome. So in my HQ, I also brought with me a big mech with KFF, who is no longer in the Codex. GW, what are you thinking? But luckily he's still there in Legends, so I brought him along. He rode around with my shooter boys, giving them a little bit more staying power and also granting them the dread mob abilities from the detachment rules. And then leading the force, I had none other than Ufthack Blackhawk. Again, because I just finished painting him and I really wanted to show him off, and I really wanted to try out his like fun rule set, because he brings with him the deep strike ability. So I combined him with the knobs for a sort of strike force that could come in on turn 2 or possibly turn 3 and hit wherever they were most needed. And yeah, I just thought his rules sounded fun, and you know, giving a unit the ability to deep strike is never a bad thing, is it? But to say my list wasn't optimized would be a bit of an understatement. Like, for example, in my boys mob, I always bring rocket launchers. I always put a rocket launcher in my boys mobs, because rocket launchers are just really good and much better than big shooters. Big shooters really ain't much cop. They don't do a whole lot. But as me and Dread were packing our armies the night before, I picked up my boy with the big shooter, and I'd done a bit of a kit bash with him years ago. And he's a lovely miniature, and one of the ones I'm really proud of. And I'm like, I have not played with this guy for a long time, because I always use a rocket launcher. I'm like, no, I'm using this guy this time. So I brought him along. With my Def Dreads, I also left my burner Dread at home, and I instead took the Dread with the big shooters. Bang. He's notoriously not very good, but I love the miniature because I worked really hard on that conversion, and I'm just like, he's a cool looking miniature, so I want to bring him. So I did, and he's fun to use because he gets, like, if he's within range, he gets 20 shots, and with some of the Dread Mob enhancements that he gets, he can actually sometimes be somewhat effective, but he's just fun to use. So yeah, my list really wasn't built around dominating all. It was just built, you know, for fun. It was a thematic, fun, fluffy list, and I just wanted to throw it up against people and see what we could do. And it was really, really good. Some of the other lists there were wildly different. We had lists of like hordes of miniatures, like CM Wargames list, and then we had others that were just like 3 models. Like Nick's Necron list was literally just 3 Catan. Like, holy shit. In Nick's defense, I think he made that list because he is running the event, organising the event, arranging all the sponsors, arranging all the prizes, arranging all the catering, timing everything to make sure everything runs smoothly, answering rules questions and stuff, filming the event. He's got to do all of that and play in the event at the same time. I don't know how a man does it. It's incredible. So he purposely made a list as small as possible with as fewer units as possible, and so it could just make it as simple for him as possible, so he could focus on other stuff at the same time, and hopefully in the hope that it would speed up the games for him and he wouldn't take too long. Don't think that quite worked though, did it, Nick? Because I think the last game him and Kaiser had was potentially the longest game in the universe. But that's what you get when you've got Necrons that refuse to die and Death Guard that refuse to die, I guess. So we had our teams drawn. We knew who we were paired with. Nick read out all the rules of the event and told us what we would be doing. And so with that said, it was time to get our first game underway. So in the first round, me and Kev came up against Rory and Aaron and their Tyranids and Demons. And wow, they were quite a scary combination, because the Tyranids was all about the big beasties, the big gribbly beasties. There was a few gene stealers and things in there, but for the most part it was just the big nasty. So these were some big bugs. And then on the demon side we had Bloodthirsters, and we had Be'lakor leading them. And yeah, scary stuff. These are big, imposing, hard-hitting units with like decent invulnerable saves, good sort of psychic shenanigans, not psychic, but like deep striking shenanigans, should I say, and just hit like a freight train. So yeah, scary stuff. But what a fun game. What an absolutely brilliant game. Rory and Aaron were great guys to play with. They brought the energy. They played honourably. There was no worry of sort of people cheating or trying to bend the rules or be ultra beardy. There was none of that. It was just good, laid back fun. There was lots of hollering and hooting, a lot of it by me when dice rolls were rolled. And yeah, overall the game itself was just really fun and really close.
Right guys, I am here currently in the middle of my first game. I'm here with my teammate and team captain from the hobby corner, Kevin, with your Space Marines. We've just finished our first turn, haven't we? It hasn't gone bad, has it? We've done all right. Yeah,
actually took some wounds off a Norn.
Yeah, chipped some wounds off a Norn emissary. I've cleared off some zone throats. So we're doing all right. I did heavily damage my own Death Drift though with a nasty hazardous roll. So he did almost as much damage to himself as he did to them. It is awesome. It's fun, isn't it? It's a laugh, isn't it? But yeah, we're doing all right. We're moving up the board well. Not a bad first turn. But let's have a look at our opposition over here. So we have Rory here from Shed Gaming. How you doing, buddy?
Good. We got the Tyranids. We're ready to kick some. But
how was that first turn for you?
I lost my brain bug. It's a little sad.
Yeah.
But she only took 1 hour.
You're welcome, by the way. And your teammate over here, Aaron, with the
Demon Prince Gaming.
Demon Prince Gaming, a fitting name with the army you've bought because he's bought all the Demon Princes. Beautiful.
Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of our turn. Hand over to you.
I'm going to do a stratagem. Okay. And I'm going to spend the CP on Realms of Chaos. These two are coming off the board.
Me and Kev got off to a cracking start. My orc shooting was on point on the first turn. I think Kev's was as well. We moved into position. We took control of the centre field and things were going really well. And on their first turn, it wasn't going too well for them because I kept making saves all the time. Like Snap just refused to die, which was brilliant because Snap's an absolute wrecking machine when he gets going. And yeah, it looked like it was going in our favour. But slowly they sort of crept back up on us in the scores and they started whittling our units down. And then when the demons flew off the board and then came back on the board in the rear lines, they only had a unit of killer cans to try and stop them. I think you can guess where that battle went. But yeah, basically it ended with them beating us quite comfortably at the end, but only really on that last turn did they surge ahead on points. We were pretty much neck and neck on points all the way up to turn 4 when I got wiped off the board. And then, yeah, then they dominated from that point onwards on the final turn to win the game. But you know, I don't take anything away from the guys. They deserved the win. They stuck through those tough first couple of turns and brought the score back even and then just decimated us at the end. And but yeah, we had so much fun. There was so much laughter, so many good times had. And yeah, it was brilliant. A great first game and it just had me buzzing for the next game.
Right guys, we're just coming to the end of my first game. I have let my teammate down because I'm dead. I'm wiped off the board. He's still valiantly fighting on. It does look like we're going to lose this game, but it's been a close one, hard fought. We've scored heavy. So although we've lost the game, I don't think we're going to be too far down the league because we did score quite high. It was a high scoring game, very close game. Really good fun, and like I say, it's still going on, so we're still in a shot. We haven't lost yet, but let's take this opportunity to show you around and let's see what's going on the other tables. So over here we've got Dreadwire Gaming over here, and we've got a battle going on here. We've got Orcs and Custodes taking on Knights and Necrons, and 11
ridiculous.
11 models. I think they've had the biggest explosion because we had a Tesseract vault blow up in the centre of the board over here, so it's all kicking off. Over here we have got the Kaiser from Modelling from Advantage. He's in the middle of the game, so I won't disturb him. He's paired up with Nick, who is also filming. We've got multiple filming going on here. Look, you're seeing behind the scenes. What have we got here? We've got Orcs, we've got Death Guard, we've got Necrons, and we've got something else, Dark Eldar, Drukhari going on here. So, interesting combination. It's fun, And then over here, this is the other big nasty we've got on here. We've got this thing causing troubles. Not this thing, this thing. And over here we've got Sisters of Battle, we've got Necrons, we've got Space Marines, and Space Marines. How's it going, guys? How's the game going?
I've just finished it. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah?
Really good. Yeah.
Good stuff. We are seeing everyone's wrapping up. We're coming to the end of round one. After this, we're going to be having a bit of lunch, and we're going to be finding out who we're paired up with next. But let's show you around. Look, we've got over here. We've got some cool stuff here. Nick always lays on great events. He really puts in the effort. We've got trophies. It looks like we've even got like participation trophies. I don't know what these are. We've got third place, runners up, first place. We've got best army runner up. We've got wooden spoons. We've got bases and movement things and loads of prizes. Good stuff. Over here we've got the TARDIS, the blue box. We've got the TARDIS. That is the toilet. I will not take the camera in there. Yeah, the TARDIS. It doesn't look like it does on Doctor Who. And then we've got food. We've got a supply of food. Look, he's even thinking of our health. We've got our 5 a day. We've got apples. We've got grapes.
Quite healthy food there.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of strawberries. Look at this.
Yeah,
Flapjacks. That's your fibre. We've got some bananas.
Should have seen how much food we ate last year.
What we got in here? We got drinks. Oh, pasties. Look, Nick. You've excelled yourself again, and we've got these beautiful surroundings. Look where we get to play. It's beautiful there. It's a nice sunny day. We're rolling dice with great people in there. I'm having a ball. Just lost my first game, but I don't care. It's great fun.
For me, the highlight of the event, of the whole thing, was getting to vote for the best army. And this was my favourite part of it, because this just gave everyone a chance to display their armies and walk round and gaze at some beautiful miniatures. And by God, there were some beautiful miniatures at this event. We had 3 stunning Space Marine armies, one of which my partner Kev. The other ones was Bill Morlock with his beautifully done Marines. Kit bashed to perfection, especially that dreadnought. I keep going to call it a Death Dread because I'm so used to orcs, but yeah, a stunning dreadnought. His stuff is just painted absolutely beautifully. It's absolutely gorgeous. And David from the Golden Throne, his Nova Marines with their grim duck aesthetic and really nice colour scheme. Absolutely. All the Marine armies at this event were stunning. We had all sorts here. We had gorgeous looking Tyranids. Some of these big beasties were really, really nicely painted and really imposing. And just, Tyranids are awesome, aren't they? Well, got a lot of love for Tyranids. We had the Golden Boys, the Custodes in full force. I've not a huge amount of experience with Custodes. Like I said, this was my first time really meeting anyone that had Custodes. But yeah, a great looking army there. Hover tank looking really, really cool. The Imperial Knights looking gorgeous. There was just so much good stuff to look at. So with lunch eaten, the votes for best army in, it was time for the draw for our second game. And this time we drew the Custodes and Orcs. It was James Workshop and Dread. Good Lord, I travelled all that way and I've still got to play Dread. So we knew we were in for a tough game with this one. Custodes, I'd heard a lot about them. I knew just how tough they were. They're like the elites of the elites. So we knew it was going to be tough to shift them. And I also knew Dread's army was pretty decent as well, because I've just come off of a couple of losses against Dread and his force. So I know it's a tough army for my army to fight already. So I knew we were in for a tough battle. But we went into it with the right spirits and we were like, let's just have a go and see what happens. And we came out swinging. We run the roll for first turn. Things were looking good. We barreled up the field with enthusiasm. We fired off shots and didn't achieve very much with those shots. Most of them missed, or if they did hit, they bounced harmlessly off armor. And yeah, after that, it was pretty much downhill. No, there were some great moments in the game. There were some great moments, but yeah, it's not a stretch to say they absolutely decimated us. I have no idea what the final score was. I honestly can't remember, but they did absolutely whoop us. I was wiped out on turn 3, and even with Bob making a valiant charge into Dread's Slugger Chopper boys and taking a few of them out, might I add. That was the highlight of the game for me, Bob and the gang doing their stuff. But otherwise, everything else kind of either underperformed or was hit and destroyed before it had a chance to perform at all. And so I was wiped off the board yet again, leaving Kev yet again on his own to try and just scrape something together out of this game, but it was not to be. What we did scrape together out of the game though was a lot of fun with 2 really good opponents, and it was James Workshop, my first time meeting him. Lovely guy, clearly knows his stuff with the rules and things. He knew his stuff with the game and the sort of tournament rules. That specifically me and Dread are certainly not really tournament players. We don't play competitively. We play much more sort of narrative, fun, laid back, fluffy games. So having someone there that's a little bit more in tune with the sort of the current updated rules for the tournaments and things was very useful to have there. But he was a gentleman. James was an absolute gentleman while crushing me. But yeah, great game. I was actually worried for a while because Dread was on the table as well, and we all know how slow Dread plays. I was getting concerned that we weren't going to finish this game because it was much slower than the first game, and there was quite a few rules queries and things that needed to be cleared up at various points in the game. But I was starting to sort of panic a little bit, thinking we're not going to finish the game. I don't care if I lose or win. I'm not bothered. If we can't finish the game though, that's gonna bug the hell out of me. I hate not finishing a game, honestly. It's like knocking one out and no orgasm, you know. It's just, come on, people. You've got to finish the games. You've got to finish. You've got to climax. Sorry for the analogy. I'm not sorry. You know what you get on this channel.
You loved this, didn't you? When I take it once.
Just getting it on camera, so we got proof.
Alright, okay. My flash kit's gonna have to sit back in.
It's not like we're on a time limit. It's not like it's a strict time limit tournament.
I was just waiting on you 2 seconds ago, Pete.
There's no footage of that. I deny all knowledge. Look, he's even got his mate. He's got his new mate to help him out. Look, because he can't. He's like.
Leave the Jippo be, alright?
And that was it. The event was done. 2 games done. Tournament over. For us at least. There were still some other games going on. So I took this opportunity to go around with my camera and get some footage and take some pictures and chat and mingle with the people on the other tables and see what was going on. There was all sorts going on the other tables during the first and second round. I mean, I remember in the first round we had a Tesseract Vault blow up. That was over on Dread's game, and when that explosion then caused a chain reaction of other explosions around it, which was just a big epic spectacle. And I think that would take the award for the biggest explosion of the tournament, which was just awesome. It's great when things like that happen, events like that. It gets people talking, and it's good because it's that stuff. That's the kind of stuff that happens that really immerses people in the game, that really draws them into the sort of story that's being told on the game. And I think in that game it was literally Dread and James just firing everything and the kitchen sink at this thing until it died, and eventually it did, but then took out half their stuff with it. So absolutely awesome. Over on the table with Nick and Kaiser on that last game, like I said, I was worried that our game wasn't going to finish. It turned out that our game finished like 2 hours before theirs, because we had gone outside, we were chilling out, we were chatting, we were eating, and we were taking pictures and just hanging out. And quite a lot of time had passed, and we were like, well, we'll be heading off for dinner soon, won't we? And then looked in there and saw that their game was still going on. Absolute madness. And I don't even think they finished it. And in fact, I think they only got to like turn 3 or something, which is mental. I don't think I would have enjoyed that personally. I get a bit grumpy when games go on a bit too long and things are getting drawn out, and if decisions are being sort of debated or rules are being read up, after a while I get a bit tired. I go, well look, just go with it, come on, let's get this rolling, because I'm getting bored now. I get bored with too much bookkeeping and, you know, that kind of thing, or it might just have been that, you know, just nothing seemed to be dying in that game. You had sort of quite resilient opposing forces against each other, so I think just not much stuff was dying, which certainly wasn't happening in my game. Things were dying by the bucket load, but that's Orcs, isn't it? So then it was time to announce the winners of the tournament. So we all gathered up. Nick had got a whole load of prizes organised from the awesome sponsors of the events. I'll take this opportunity to tell you about them. The event was sponsored by 3 different sponsors: Morphic 3D, Wargame Exclusive, and Innovative Tinkering. I seem to have real trouble saying that. Innovative Tinkering. There you go. There are links to those companies down in the description below, and there are also discount codes for some of those as well. I highly recommend you go down there and check out those links. Wargames Exclusive makes some absolutely beautiful quality resin miniatures. I've bought from them in the past, and there is a discount code for them down there, so get in there now and use that discount code while you can and claim some bargains. But yeah, really cool that Nick had organised that, and really awesome of those companies to sponsor the event, because they donated some wicked prizes that were given out, and no one left empty-handed, not even me. So we had the winners of the wooden spoon, which was Bill Morlock and David. David was really pleased. He said when he got his one, because he had won it last year as well, so he was well chuffed because he had 2 of them. He said he could now toss a salad with them, which I thought was hilarious. So I think he's on a wooden spoon collecting mission. And then me and Kev thought we might be in with a shot of winning the wooden spoon, because we had lost both games. I think though, because we had done so well in that first game, that we had scored quite highly on points in that. We didn't score very highly on the second game, but because we had scored so highly on that first game, I think that kept us out of that bottom spot. We ended up second to last, I believe, but I still got a prize. I got one of the prizes from Innovative Tinkering. I got these rather awesome objective markers that come in this cool little thing that reminds me of like shoe polish. Yeah, got these awesome objective markers, which was really cool, because I basically turned up, took part, got my arse handed to me, but still left with a prize, which was awesome. So thank you very much, Nick, and thank you, Innovative Tinkering. They're really nice objective markers, actually. These are just the sort of things I like using. I'm not a big fan of the big disc things. I know they're really good for tournament play, but for me they're a bit immersion breaking. I much prefer things like this that are a bit less intrusive. And yeah, prizes continued to be handed out for 3rd place, for runners up, and of course for the winners of the event, which was Rory and Aaron, who you'll remember we played against in the first game, so I definitely didn't feel so bad about losing to them then.
Champions are Rory and Aaron.
I lost to them.
Yeah. We need some tinkering dice. I'll let you. Rory's got some dice! That's it. Oh my god.
We better make sure we use these next year. We can run home and shout out.
Necrons! I've got so much stuff. Oh my god. Thank you. Plus, a Morphic 3D first prize mystery box. Too much about. Did we check it? Yeah, we did. Cracker Jack. Can I check it?
Right, I am here with the illustrious tournament winners of, what's this tournament called again?
Dominion War.
2024.
Dominion War 2024. It's actually quite catchy. Why didn't I remember that? You can see why I lost to these guys now. But yeah, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, so Rory from Shed Gaming, and I'm from a small shed, but I got a smaller trophy, and it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's a great stuff.
It is amazing.
All because of Aaron, though. He carried it. He was
Tell
the
us,
reason why
tell
I
us a
won.
little bit about your channel.
Yeah, so
What
it's a
do you
channel
do?
just with gamers in a shed, and we just make videos and have fun with 40k, really, and it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, come check us out. It would be
A lot of
amazing.
battle reports.
Battle reports, yeah.
Battle reports. If you like your battle reports, check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Aaron. I'm from Demon Prince Gaming. Name's in the title. I'm a demon player. As for the channel, do everything from battle reports to tactic reviews, other things like that, and I occasionally go live. So yeah, feel free to check me out. Appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Appreciate
All the
it.
links are down in the description, people. But guys, it was a pleasure.
It was
to
a
play
great
against
game.
you.
Oh, it was
And
lovely.
you know what?
Pleasure.
I don't feel so bad now because we gave you guys a good run.
Yeah,
through,
no,
didn't
you
we?
did.
We
You
bought the
did.
fight.
Yeah,
We bought the
we thought
fight.
we were going to lose.
It was a good battle.
was a good game.
Yeah, it's
So
good.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
We lost to the best.
Hey,
Well done, boys.
Rory was really chuffed with his prizes, and everyone was keen to see what was in these mystery prizes from Morphic 3D. No one had any idea what was inside the boxes. So when Rory was like, "Shall I open it?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I grabbed my camera and filmed it to see what he got, and got some really cool stuff in there. He got paint racks, custom paint racks, and he had also some wound counter tray things that you put your dice in and show the wounds, and Nick's used these in a lot of his games, and they're really, really useful actually. Really cool. So yeah, awesome prizes that I'm sure the winners, both Rory and Aaron, will get a lot of use out of. Awesome guys, well deserved win for them guys. Yeah, so yeah, again, I'm gonna have to meet up with them guys at some point and roll some more dice with them, because really, really fun. I'd be definitely up for more of that and collaborating with them guys. But yeah, well done Aaron and Rory on the win. It really was well deserved, guys, and I could see how chuffed you were with all your prizes and that. It was awesome. I having played you guys, I knew what gentlemen you were and what decent, honourable guys you were, and very, very well deserved. So well done, guys. So with all the winners announced, there was it was time to unveil the winner for Best Army. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In terms of the tournament, I didn't really care where I came. I honestly didn't care. Don't get me wrong, I was playing to win. I was trying to win. But it's not that important to me. If I go there and I lose every single game, as long as the guys I'm playing with are fun and playing honourably and playing in the right spirit and having a laugh, I don't really care. Even if I get my arse handed to me, as long as it's fun, that's all I really care about. So I wasn't really bothered about that. But when Nick announced, right, we're going to announce the winner of Best Army, and he said, oh, there's only 3 or 4, 5 armies that got voted for, and I was like, oh. And I know a lot of people had made nice comments about my army throughout the day, and I thought I might actually be in a shot here. And that's where my ears did prick up a little bit, because that was a prize I would have liked to have won. I definitely would have liked to have won, because for me, that's the real prize. Because for me, just on a personal level, I put the sort of modelling and painting and that stuff ahead of just doing well on the tabletop. To me, I'm not that fast. I would much rather get compliments for how nice my army looks than smash my opponents on the table. And so yeah, I was like, oh, could be in with a shot here. I didn't win it, but I did get joint 3rd place. I was joint, I believe, with David and his Nova Marines, which was high praise indeed, because those were gorgeous. So just to be uttered in the same breath as that army was a great honour. So I was pleased with that. But Dread, good old Dread, he won runner-up. He got 2nd place with his freebooter army, and I was so pleased for him. I really was so pleased for him, because as long-time viewers of the channel know, I've been good friends with Dread and collaborated with Dread for a long time. I know how hard he's worked on that army. He worked really hard on that army. Almost every miniature in there is kit bashed or converted to some degree. He's gone through loads of different weathering pigments and inks and stuff, and he really does go to town on his stuff. And believe it or not, most of those miniatures weren't finished. to most people's eyes, they'd look at them and they'd say, wow, they're beautifully done and great. But no, they're not actually finished. He still now keeps going back to them. I'm not sure when they'll ever be finished, to be honest, because I don't think any of Dredd's miniatures are ever truly finished. I think he can't resist to go back and pop a little bit more and just keep adding with them. But yeah, anyway, really pleased. I'm so pleased he won. And well, look, let's hear from the man himself.
Greetings, boys and gits. It's I, Dredd of Dredd Wargaming. Although, obviously, I haven't been doing very much on my own channel all that much lately. But you can check me out over on the War Bosses. And occasionally on 6 Plus Stevo's channel, as I am appearing now. I am here today to talk about my experience of Dominion War 2024. Yeah. Thank you, first of all, to Nick for inviting me along. I was so privileged to be invited. Nick's a fantastic guy. He's been a part of my YouTube career since I started out, and he's been a fantastic support. I've gone and played him personally. You can check out that battle report over on Nick Beer's channel. And I am also appearing on the 6 War Bosses. My own channel is a bit quiet at the moment, I do apologise. But more about Dominion War 24, which is what you're here to talk or hear about. I played 2 games, as did everybody. There were 16 YouTubers in total, all great guys, all really characterful. I had a really good time, actually. I will be really honest, the guys that I played with really carried me through the games, because as some of you may know, I'm not the most precise gamer. I don't really know the rules all that very well. In fact, the last time I played was back in January with the original 10th edition rules, which I didn't have a firm grasp of. But now things have changed. So since the Pariah Nexus or whatever it's called, don't care. I just was there to have some fun with my orcs, as I do. And boy, did I have some fun. So I got teamed up with a guy called James, and he had custodes. So perfect combination with my orcs and custodes. We had a very good chance of winning. Our first game, we had 2 games. Our first game was so close. In fact, we almost had it. If it weren't for the fact that towards the end, now I don't understand, like I say, so the guys were doing some rules skullduggery, some trickery pokery, and they were going, well, if we just they were about to give up, and well, we should just and do you know what, I think they actually, from what I remember, they were just trying to be nice to me to let me continue playing the game. So like, we'll just play it through for their sake, because you know their points and stuff count in this thing. So they played it through and actually managed to steal the game from us, even though I managed to blow up the massive knight with my mega knobs. I did really well in that game. I didn't expect, like, I was against Imperial Knights and Necrons with a big Tesseract Vault and a load of other scary big things and a couple of teleporty little things. But oh boy, I was like, oh my god, I'm like on the table with, like, you know, I've got the Golden Boys next to me who are like tough as, and then I've got these, I've played Necrons once before and been annihilated, so Necrons tough and Knights bloody hell scary. I've never played against them, so yeah, I didn't expect to even survive a couple of rounds. I thought I'd just be the, you know, the oil in the gears, as it were. I thought I'd just be there to just be absorbing some firepower, but as it goes, I stuck it through. I had more left on the table than anyone else at the end, and yeah, I had a really great game. I really did. Thank you guys. My opponents were fantastic as well. And then my second game was against none other than 6 Plus Stevo with his orcs against Space Marines. Sorry guys, I can't remember the names of the opponents off the top of my head because I'm rubbish with names, but you were all fantastic people. I really enjoyed playing against you. And I won a victory against, well, we won a victory, me and James. I say James particularly because he did carry us through. But we had a victory against Stevo, and it was, well, what can I say? Another one in the bag, baby. You know, it's just getting used to this, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a very good game actually. Unfortunately, Stevo did get wiped out. I don't know what turn it was, but he got wiped out. I didn't actually get to fight him that much, to be honest. Some custodes got up the board, he sort of challenged them, and that was his mistake. That was it, basically. But I managed to beat off a load of Space Marines. Again, my Mega Knobs, which were definitely my player of the match. I had 5 Mega Knobs with a big mech in Mega Armour inside of a battle wagon, and they done about 3 units of Space Marine, like Intercessors and Terminators. Like, I was kicking ass with them. So yeah, I had a fantastic thing. And to top it all off, I mean, we only came 4th, which is pretty good. We weren't on the podium or anything. We didn't get a trophy. Did get a little prize for coming 4th. But to top it all off for me, the big sort of win was that I got the runner-up, 2nd place, 2nd best army in the event. So I was well chuffed because, as some of you might know, as Stevo definitely knows, my army isn't finished yet. It's like at a 95 to 98% finished, perspective ratio at the moment, because I've still got things to finish on them. They're not quite there, but I'm really glad that what I've done so far gets me 2nd place. So if I finish them off, maybe next time I'll get 1st. That'd be great. Anyway, I better pass you back to Mr. 6+ Stevo himself.
So there you go, a happy young Dreadwar, bless him. But we still had the winner to announce, and the winner was, of course, if you hadn't guessed by now, Bill Morlock from Warzone Morlock with his gorgeous, beautiful Space Marines, and just thoroughly well deserved.
The winner, best army this year was Bill.
I voted for him.
Wooden spoon,
wins the painting.
From bottom to top in 10 minutes.
So you get 2 Cyborg miniatures, more game exclusive, and also Black Templar one. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Beautiful army.
So yeah, losing to that army, no shame in that at all. Really, I wasn't in with a shot when he brought their Marines out on the table, because they are that good. They really are. Did you know this Space Marine sculpt was apparently modelled after our very own Bill Morlock? What do you guys think? The resemblance is uncanny. And apparently he wasn't the only lookalike there either. Ew. A most handsome devil, I'm sure you'll agree. So all the winners were announced and done, but there was time for one more event, one more chance to win a prize. And it was time for the dice roll-off. Now Nick does this every year. At the very end, he just gets everyone together. You get 1 dice each, and you roll them, and whoever rolls a 6 wins the mystery prize. I turned round to look for my dice, and Dread had rather helpfully, without being asked or instructed to, had packed all my stuff away back in his car. And it was kind of annoying, because I don't like using other people's dice. I've just got this weird thing. I don't like using other people's dice, and if I'm honest with you, I don't like people using my dice either. I just feel like it's complete superstitious bollocks. I'm totally aware of, but I just feel like when other people use your dice, it tarnishes them and sort of affects their luck. Or something like that. And if I use other people's dice, they won't work for me because they're not my dice, and I don't know. But I didn't have much choice unless I wanted to run all the way down to his car, get the car keys off him, run all the way down to the car, find where he'd put them, dig out the dice from there, and then keep everyone waiting. And plus I was being lazy and I didn't want to run out to the car park. But Dan from Warhammer 40k was gracious enough most gracious enough to loan me this dice. And yes, it was this dice that actually won me the roll-off. No one else rolled a 6. I managed to roll a 6, and yeah, it was awesome. And I won this, a mug. I got a mug that changes with the temperature. I'll tell you what, maybe in the edit I'll add a hot beverage to this drink later on tonight when I'm going to have a brew, and I'll show you this cup in detail. I haven't actually tried a hot drink in it yet, but yeah, lovely cup. So that was cool to win yet another prize. And then I went to return said dice to Dan, but he was like, no, you keep it, mate. It's lucky. And I was like, oh, bless you, that's awesome. And so yeah, that is a very lucky 6 because it won me this mug. And yeah, what a cool guy, what a cool thing to do. Just and I will keep this dice. It won't go, I don't know, maybe I will carry it around me. I was going to put it up on my shelf as like a memento, because every time I look at this dice now, I'll remember Dan from Warhammer 40k. So that's cool. Dan, thank you very much, mate. Absolute gentleman. With all that done, we were almost at the end, but it was time for one more thing, and that was, of course, to go for dinner. And Dredd was excited about this one because we took our young freebooter to a pirate-themed restaurant, and oh my god, this place was awesome. The food was incredible, massive portion sizes, perfect for hungry bellies of tired, weary warriors. We had a real hunger on, and I was starving. I was absolutely starving. They did mess up my order slightly, I will say that was a bit annoying, but they gave me a free drink and apologised for keeping me waiting, but I had to sit and watch everyone else eat for a while, which only made me more hungry. But when my food did arrive, it did not disappoint. It was absolutely beautiful. The restaurant was called Rapscallions, a perfect and fitting name for the motley crew that was attending it. And it was just a really good time. It was a chance for everyone to sit at the table and have a good chat and a good chinwag and unwind after a good day of rolling dice. And it was just a beautiful end to a beautiful day. And then that was it. It was done. All over. And something I'd been looking forward to for so long, in the blink of an eye, it's all over and done, and you're travelling back home. And on the journey back home, me and Dredd were just talking to each other, and we were both still on a high. We'd had such a good time. We were really chuffed with the people we'd met and the games we'd played, and we were telling the stories of what had happened in our games. And we got back and we were still on a bit of a buzz from it all, and it was just, yeah, it was just brilliant. Nick, I've got to say, mate, I've got to say thank you so much for what you do for this community. The fact that you're getting really good at running these events now, mate. Really, really good at running these events. You could see the work that had been put in with help from Richard as well. Got to give thanks to Richard for helping Nick out run this and set all this up. I know the day before you were still out getting food and everything for the event and all the catering, and you were booking tables, and you were, you know, there's so many moving parts and so many things that could go wrong. But you've really got it like down to clockwork now, I think. And the fact that you're able to do that and take part in the event and film the event as well, absolutely brilliant. And yeah, best event yet, I think. It's really hard to choose because I've had a great time at every one, but this one, was it better than the last? I think quite possibly. They've all been brilliant. I've never had a bad time at these events, and I just look forward to Dominion War 2025. I also want to say a big thank you to all the participants at this event. Each and every one of you was a pleasure to be around, a pleasure to roll dice with. I'm really pleased that I've discovered all your channels now, and you can be sure that I'll be watching your content and checking it out. And viewers, check the description below, because every single YouTuber that attended, you will find a link to their channel in the description below. I highly recommend you go and check them out, because they're creating some great content. There's lots of battle reports, there's some painting tips, there's discussion videos, and yeah, there's some really good content there. So go and check them out, please. Go and check them out, subscribe to them, tell them 6+ sent you, and spread the love. And with all that being said, there's just the only people left to thank is you at home watching this right now. Thank you very much for joining me and letting me share these stories with you. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the downward one if you didn't like it. Hit the subscribe button. There's a join button as well if you're feeling really flush. There's Patreon links. There's links to loads of other Orky content and channels. There is a link to the IDICBeer unification group, which I highly recommend you check out. And there is also a link to the 40k Orc community, a Facebook group created by, at least in part, myself, and something I'm very, very proud of. We're growing really big now, and it is, without question, the greatest Orc Facebook group the world has ever known. If you don't believe me, go and check it out. But for now, guys, this is 6+ Stevo, signing out.